Hi guys, Mae Graves here, Real Estate Market Pros. I know I tell you all the time that the number one question I get asked is how's the market? Well, we're not talking about that today. Another question that I get very often from people online is tell me the difference between Port Angeles and Sequim. I also get that when people call me on the phone that saw me somewhere online, Google or whatnot. And so let's talk about that. Let's see what the differences are between Port Angeles and Sequim. So I would say the housing market in Sequim is probably a bit more competitive. Buyers may see multiple offers if a home is priced right. Now, that's not always, but if it's priced right, if interest rates are down a bit, if you're in the spring or in the fall, then you're going to see that more often. Median home prices are generally higher in Sequim than in Port Angeles. That's pretty consistent year over year. As of the time of this recording, Port Angeles median home price is about $480. Sequim's median home price is about $565,000. So that fluctuates, of course, with the market, but that's just right now. What does that mean? It means the Sequim market can be strong, it can be a bit pricier, it can move a little bit more swiftly. Be prepared for those things if you're looking in Sequim versus Port Angeles. Let's talk about population, community size. So Port Angeles has a much larger population inside of the city limits. About 20,000 people, has a larger city center or downtown area as well. But with that comes more services, more amenities, more employment options. They have a hospital in Port Angeles that Sequim does not have. They've got lots of industry, things that they're making. They've got a community college there that's called Peninsula College. They've got a national park headquarters, the visitor center there. The ferry to Victoria. We'll talk probably a little bit more about that. It's a great place for someone who wants more of a dynamic daily activities, maybe more public services, medical facilities, community resources, which many buyers like for convenience. Seems to draw more of a diverse group of buyers, leaning towards maybe a younger median age, more family dynamic, I would say. For Sequim has a smaller community feel. Now, inside the city limits, probably less than 9,000 people, and it's often described as quieter, slower paced, strong sense of community. So the appeal for buyers, that would be somebody who is seeking more of a relaxed, kind of village-like environment, maybe including retirees or people who value kind of that low population density. Even young families, somebody might want that as opposed to big city. Sequim often stands out for that. So lifestyle and neighborhood feel, you've heard of the Sequim or the Blue Hole if you've been looking online for any time at all, you've heard about the Blue Hole or the Olympic rain shadow, we call it. Sequim, probably, I would say for pros, it's famous for that sunny microclimate, less rain, probably about half the rain of Seattle, literally. Like we get 16 to 18 inches of rain in Sequim. Seattle's going to easily be double that. And then Port Angeles, somewhere in between. Port Angeles is wide, so the further you go west, you're going to have more rain. When I was a kid, they used to say for every mile west you go, you're going to get another inch of rain per year. That does tend to work, but then when you get out to Forks, Washington, where the Twilight series, the book was written, the movie was filmed. Actually, it might not have been filmed in Forks, but they measure the rain in feet. It's not in inches, it's literally in feet, and it's 10 feet to be exact. They get 120 inches of rain per year in Forks, Washington. Very different. That's why vampires live there. Just kidding. Some of the cons, I would say, would be with the popularity also comes higher prices, like I mentioned, more competition. So less rainfall, but be prepared to pay more price for your home. So Port Angeles, I like to explain Port Angeles as a coastal, active waterfront town. Larger city, not large, larger city, even though 20,000 people inside the city limits is actually very small still, but larger than Sequim. You're going to have more things like parks, restaurants, cultural amenities like the Field Arts Center, the Field Hall Center on the waterfront, more diversity in housing options. So you'll have older homes, maybe apartments, just more inventory overall in Port Angeles. And like I was mentioning, is the downtown area is older, so you're going to have more craftsman style homes in Port Angeles than you would in Sequim, I would say. But Sequim, you'll have more luxury homes, larger homes, more view homes. Some of the cons to Port Angeles might be more, it feels more like a city. Some people may like that, so I shouldn't say it's a con, but more traffic, more industrial areas with more people. Does that mean more noise level? Does it mean more crime? Income, demographics. So Port Angeles, generally higher median home price. I'm sorry, start that over. So Port Angeles, income, demographics. I would say Port Angeles generally has a higher median household income. Some of that is because people in Port Angeles have 2 or maybe 3 income earners still, where in Sequim they tend to be retired. Maybe they have a Social Security income, or they're living from investments and things. I would say Port Angeles probably has a more diverse employment income mix than Sequim would, and a broader range of housing. Sequim's median age tends to be a bit higher than Port Angeles, so a bit older population. Household incomes are, I would say, modest, but not low. It's not like poverty level by any stretch. They are maybe less than Port Angeles because there's they don't have to have that money now. They're not raising a family. Something else that's interesting, just a little side mark here, probably 40%, it fluctuates, 25 to 40%, but usually about 30 to 40% of the homes sold in both Port Angeles and Sequim are to cash buyers. That's always an interesting dynamic to me. When interest rates go up, we see more cash buyers. When the interest rates come down, people hang on to their cash and they finance it because it's affordable. So some might think these are things that are pros, some might think they are things that are cons, but I would say overall, your median home price in Port Angeles is lower. There's more job opportunity, but more of a fast-paced community. But then you're closer to things like the West End. So let's say you want to be kind of in that Northwest playground attitude. So you're going to be hiking and fishing and going on the river and things like that. The West End on the Port Angeles end is close to all of that and just wonderful, beautiful. If you want to be closer to city amenities like the airport, Seattle, Silverdale Mall, Port Townsend, then Sequim might be a better option for you. A lot of people will tell you that the two towns are 15 minutes apart. And that may be true if you were measuring from, say, the west edge of Sequim to the east edge of Port Angeles. Yes, that might be about 15 minutes. However, if you were going from downtown Port Angeles to downtown Sequim, that's going to be about 25 minutes. So the final takeaway, if you want diversity in restaurants and jobs and housing and more affordable housing, choose Port Angeles. If you want to be closer to the city, more of a relaxed atmosphere, maybe more day-to-day medical but not a hospital, expect to pay a little bit more for your house and maybe a little bit more competition, but choose Sequim. Either way, I'm Mae Graves with Real Estate Market Pros, and you can reach me at 360